I'm here to remind you that the grass is green wherever you are, but it is greenest where it is watered. Now I have this friend of mine that lives in the country. She lived in the country, and she lives with her family in a mansion. He's in her bedroom, laundry room, powder room, 5.5 baths, and she has even a theater room with nannies, cooks, and living relatives with her beck and call. And then one day she said to me, and she went this way: Nigeria is too hard. The sun is too harsh. The water supply is skeletal. The electricity channels are compromised. The roads are dilapidated. This insecurity is alarming. And friends and relatives barging in for a visit or even for a stayover. And she went on and on and on. And then she finally added, I think we're going to relocate overseas, the UK to be precise. Now she and her husband makes 6 figures, and that's excluding extra quotes and allowances. And then they decided to sell their properties and travel overseas. Now they're filing, and the documentation was cumbersome, but they navigated through. And they were scrutinized, they were investigated. The children had DNA tests carried out on them. Thankfully, everything checked out. And they up and left. Now, do you know statistically, and this was from 2021 census, you have over 376,684 residents in the UK alone of Nigerian descent.
Only.
And this number is fast growing.
Should be more than that.
And now we left. On arrival, the first culture shock. They arrived in summer. So the first culture shock was that the sun was as hot, if not hotter, than in Nigeria. And all their money could only get them a condo. And then suddenly was school time. She couldn't choose just any school. She had to wait until there was an opening in the classes, they required. And then she couldn't move out of the neighborhood, of course, because they couldn't afford the car. Insurance fees was too high. And then she had to walk her children to school or ride along with them on the bus. And of course, the double jeopardy was she had to dress her children by herself every morning and walk them to school, all by herself. Now the high heels stilettos, they're gone. They've been replaced by running shoes because she had to walk a distance or run a distance to catch the bus. Now, there were no friends, no relatives. Routine and loneliness crept in. They were either too far or too busy to visit, to pop in. And then, even though with all their degrees, they could not get a white-collar job, and they had to do odd jobs, what we also call black jobs. And along the line, it was a decision she had to take for herself, whether she could give up or keep up. But you know what they say, if you're going through hell, just keep going. So, another phase of life had set in, and she had to decide to stay. But the truth is, your rose, it is the amount of time you spend on your rose that makes your rose so important. So water yourself, invest in your dreams, pursue your goals, and don't forget to be yourself, because everyone else is already taken. Thanks.